G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. Now, a very senior staffer in the Anthony Albanese government has accused the government of bullying and, in effect, constructive dismissal. She's still working for the government, but she's been driven out, she says. And this is the last thing you want 6 months out from a federal election. And the senior staffer is Joe Tarnawsky, who's the Chief of Staff for the Deputy Prime Minister, Richard Marles. And Marles is also the Defence Minister. And as it turns out, Richard Marles today is acting Prime Minister, while the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, is overseas for a couple of days. Now, I'll read you out a little bit of the reporting from the Sydney Morning Herald. Then I'll show you a video from 9, where you can see Joe Tarnawsky actually speaking at Parliament House. She called a press conference to outline a complaint. Then I'll read you out a little bit from The Guardian, and they're the ones who broke the story. Now, the Sydney Morning Herald reported a couple of hours ago, Acting Prime Minister Richard Marles, Chief of Staff Joe Tarnawsky, claimed she was ousted from a job after seeking help from her colleagues' alleged bullying, leaving her with panic attacks and suicidal thoughts. Marles himself is not accused of bullying, but Tarnawsky, a former diplomat and one of the most senior women in the government, claimed he shunted her aside in April despite never previously taking issue with her performance. At an emotional press conference at Parliament House on Thursday, Tarnawsky said she had been left broken by the alleged bullying, but was motivated to go public by her daughter. She said, "Mum, maybe if you told people the truth, maybe that would help you. I'm being bullied out of a job I loved, that I was doing well," Tarnawsky claimed. "It was a job that I dreamed of having since I first visited Parliament House as a child. I'm the most senior female Chief of Staff on the Hill, and my workplace is not safe." She did not set out a specific aim for going public, and her solicitor, Michael Bradley from Mark Hugh Lawyers, has not lodged a legal claim on her behalf. Instead, she said she wanted accountability. And I'll show you the Channel 9 clip now.
There is also another story breaking out of Canberra as we go to air this morning with the Chief of Staff of Richard Marles, who's currently acting Prime Minister, alleging that she has been bullied out of her job. We'll go to our political editor, Charles Croucher in Canberra. Charles, this has been developing in the last few hours. What has she had to say?
It has, Davina. Good morning to you. Joe Tarnawsky says being the Chief of Staff to Richard Marles was a job she loved until May this year. She says she raised concerns about bullying in the office that she ran with the Deputy Prime Minister, and after a period of days she was told to look for another place to work. The bullying accusations are not against Richard Marles, but Ms Tarnawsky says her actions in response have caused her harm, and that she hasn't been face to face with Minister Marles since May.
The events of the last 5 months have been devastating. Cut from my job and ostracised without warning, people have been unaware of my real situation. I have been plagued with nightmares, flashbacks, symptoms of depression and anxiety.
The accusation comes on the day Minister Marles is in that role of acting Prime Minister. Should be said, Ms Tarnawsky's lawyers say that's merely a coincidence.
Okay, Charles, thank you.
I'll read you out a little bit from The Guardian article from yesterday, and they broke the story. And The Guardian reports after they got back from the Ukraine, Richard Marles told her she was not going to Hawaii. It's at this point, he says, "I do not need you to travel. I don't know why you're on any of these trips." Tarnawsky says she was stunned. She asked if he was telling her to look for another job. He told her he was. After a 45-minute conversation, Tarnawsky says she went to the Prime Minister's office. His Chief of Staff, Tim Gottrell, confirmed that Marles had called him the night before. Among the options open to her, Tarnawsky says Gottrell mentioned a mutual termination package. And probably the big thing there from the Guardian report is that it ties in the Prime Minister's office, his Chief of Staff, Tim Gottrell. And it looks like he was part of the constructive dismissal. If you don't know what constructive dismissal is, do an internet search. It's where they don't sack you, but they basically force you out. They force you to resign. They make your job hell. They undermine your job. And she was basically forced out of a job since April. She was made to go work somewhere else in another section of the Parliament House, which would have been very embarrassing for her. So that alone is really constructive dismissal, trying to get her to resign. Now, Channel 9 made a point of the fact that Joe Tarnawsky has gone public today when Richard Marles, Deputy Prime Minister, is acting Prime Minister. And they've alluded to that being deliberate to try and get the most amount of publicity. And if they have done that, who cares? Because if you're going to take on the government, whether it be Liberal Party or Labor Party, you have to have a plan and you need backup, because they will destroy you. Look at the people that Scott Morrison and his government destroyed along the way when they didn't like them. Make no mistake, the Labor Party will do exactly the same. Good chance they'll start backgrounding the media against Joe Tarnawsky. Well, by backgrounding, I mean the federal politicians and federal staffers, the Labor Party staffers and politicians will start leaking information to the media. Oh, Joe Tarnawsky, she was lazy, she didn't do her job well, she wasn't well liked. They'll blame her. If they do go down the backgrounding road, the government, well, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, I think, because it looks like Joe Tarnawsky, from what I've read, has got a lot of evidence to support her claim. And if she has got evidence to support her claim, and it's a legitimate claim, the government's in a lot of trouble because they've just passed new legislation, I think, recently, or brought in new laws to protect the staffers in Parliament House from bullying and being abused, etc. Now, I thought I'd just do a quick video on this because I think it could end up being a huge issue before the federal election. From the articles I've read, they haven't mentioned the term constructive dismissal, but that's what it is. Especially she's used the term bullying, she's getting bullied. Well, that is a type of constructive dismissal, especially when her boss, Richard Marles, has told her to go look for another job. And I'll keep on following up on this issue because it could be a huge issue before the federal election, like I just said. Anyhow, Kangaroo Court of Australia's independent media. I publish a website and a YouTube channel, and I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself. So please support my Patreon account or PayPal account. You can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, whatever suits your budget. It all helps out in a big way. And the link for the Patreon account and PayPal account will be below this video on YouTube and also on my website. And please share this video on social media and please hit the like and subscribe button. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.